So I'm going to talk about media relations, and some of the things I'm going to talk about today will be just for the scientific organizations and institutions here, but there are other things also which will be for the journalists and for the two groups to consider. It is essential that we learn how to relate to this key stakeholder. Whether we like it or not, we cannot escape them. We will need to learn how to work with them. Because Group 1 said we are looking at the general public. At the end of the day, mosquitoes, they don't differentiate. In fact, they don't even know who is a scientist, who is working in the laboratory, and who is not. When they are biting, they just go ahead and they bite. So it's good that those who are using mass media channels, we learn how to work with them. Am I not doing something right? Please come and help me with this one. Oh, I have to stand there. If I stand there, I might not be. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, good. All right, thank you. So, I have a teaser, and the teaser is that media is a tool for change. And in today's world, no organization can afford to ignore the media. It doesn't matter who you are, you cannot, and you should not. Because the media has a huge influence on our modern society, creating attitudes, driving action, and spreading knowledge. That is what somebody has said about the media. Okay. And why should scientific institutions and organizations bother about the media? This is what Francis Darwin said. In science, the credit goes to the man who convinces the world, not to the man to whom the idea first occurs. Scientists will come up with research topics and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the end results, if you are able, the one who is able to convince people to accept GMO mosquitoes might not be the scientist. So we need that kind of collaboration. Why should scientific institutions and organizations bother about the media? Again, in 1999, at the first World Science Forum, I'm sure most of you scientists here are aware of this science forum. They meet every 2 years to deliberate on the scientific issues. So the first one was devoted to science and the use of scientific knowledge. And in the declaration that they came out with at that time, it called for a vigorous and informed democratic debate on the production and use of scientific knowledge. The scientific community and decision makers should therefore seek the strengthening of public trust and support for science through such a debate. So at that level, at that global level, they are encouraging scientists not to, take for granted the work of other stakeholders, especially the media, but to ensure that knowledge, we do deliberate on issues and do that kind of consultation. Again, over the years, the biennial conferences have pointedly called for the free and responsible use of scientific knowledge for sustainable development to benefit all humanity. The most recent one they had is a 2022 forum, and the declaration that was issued says that we will safeguard, that is just one of the things that they said, we will safeguard, nourish, and promote the unique ability of science to inspire progress, to foster tolerance, to unite, and to care for the vulnerable through concerted public engagement and communication actions, building awareness and understanding of the role of science in support of social justice. That is one of the key points that came out of there. And so because of that, we cannot ignore that key stakeholder that has an advantage of reaching masses of people at the same time. And again, when you come to think of the functions of the media, the mass media, traditionally, the basic three functions: to inform, to educate, and to entertain. And in doing this, science comes up. If scientists and the media are working together through information, just passing on information through our news, through education, because as we pass on the news, as we use other media products to pass on information to the public, then we are creating awareness about what you are doing for us. And even in entertainment, that is why when we talk about influencers, we are looking for the celebrities. We are looking for the film producers. They are all part of it. And so through their activities, we are able to promote what the scientists are doing. And then somebody also said, journalists have the opportunity to help change the way we discuss the problems that affect us, moving from a fatalistic and angry discussion to one that shows possible paths and encourages productive conversations. That is what journalists are supposed to do. So the situation where we have a journalist sitting on radio and making some pronouncements that incite people to do things out of the normal, that is not part of it. That is not what this one is saying. We should be in the position to engender constructive discussions and debate, and not to foster war and civil confusion all along. No, we wouldn't want to do that. This is the ideal way for media, and that is what we are supposed to be doing. The case for media relations. What is media relations? Basically, media relations is a public relations tool involving a deliberate cultivation of working with the media to purposely inform the public about an organization, project, or products in a positive, consistent, and credible manner. So it is deliberate. It is purposeful. It is intentional. You've got to do that. We will soon learn the reasons why we have to do that. Also, it can encompass developing synergistic relationship with specific media outlets, journalists, bloggers, and influencers to garner publicity for an organization, project, or product. So it may not be for all, it may not be for every media house, but you do it on purpose. You select, you are selective. You want the attention of a particular media person, a particular journalist, a particular media house. So you go after that to get their attention. It further means working directly with the people responsible for producing the news packages in the mass media. And then one group of people that are often ignored, even though now consciously we are getting to them, the editors. They are the ones who do the assignments. They are the ones who assign who should cover. And if we don't cultivate a relationship with the editors, we will be having problems. In fact, most of the problems we have with coverage these days is as a result of that. Because if that assignment editor already has a relationship with that scientific institution, the key contact person there, and you send your letter, he knows who to assign. They don't just put anybody there. Because they know that, for instance, if the journalist is a young one, somebody on internship, no. They know that you cannot send somebody on internship alone. What they do is that they pair. They get a seasoned reporter and they attach someone on internship with the person. It all boils down to relationships. The goal of media relations, experts agree that the goal of media relations is to maximize positive coverage and visibility in the mass media without paying for it directly through advertising. I'm sure those of you who've gone in for adverts know how much adverts cost. But then if we are going to utilize the channel of media coverage, I want to single out media coverage because media coverage is just a tiny bit of what media does. Then you will not be paying at worst. Maybe some TNT you give to the media person. That's all. That's all. and you will get the kind of visibility you are looking for. And that is also very needful. Advantages of media relations. Working with the media on behalf of an organization allows for its enhanced visibility as well as the enablement to impact a target group. So, for instance, you want to reach policy makers, an elite group. That is where your target is, because you want the message to get to them that they need probably to set up, they need to amend some policies to incorporate the new research findings that you have. So which media house are you going to use? Or which radio station are you going to use? You go in for the one that most elite group, most of these policies makers listen to, which means that you are not going to go for a community radio station. No, you sit down and really do your homework well to get that particular radio station or media house that this group of people often use. It gives media immediate access to both large and small target audiences and helps in building public support and mobilizing public opinion for an organization. So the immediacy of your message, over distances, over cultural barriers, over all kinds of barriers, because it goes, bam, that's they call it the hypodermic needle effect. Immediacy, your message goes out to them. And if you want to reach the masses, that's the reason why you go with the media. It is worthy of note that the importance of media relations is not just about getting an organization's message intact to the media content. You see, most often scientists are concerned that what they said, we haven't stated it exactly that way. I will keep on saying, the media house is not your PRO. Let's understand that. We are not doing PR. We are reporting certain things for the benefit of our audiences, certain things that have relevance for our audiences. So it may not be verbatim what you have stated, but the fundamental reason why you are doing this is because the bottom line is the attainment of the organization's agenda of influencing the opinions and even subsequent behavior of those exposed to the news. It's more like the goal of advertising, which is to bind customers to a product and build brand royalty. Those who have succeeded in building brand royalty, whether the prices go up, it's like MTN. You see, we complain about MTN, but then we are using MTN, right? Yeah, that is what it is like. And that is why yesterday an issue came up while we were talking about, yes, that GMO causing cancer, and there was a discussion on it. The other side, which my colleagues and I really need to make time and investigate in, because the scientists are doing their things, they will not investigate in that. It will also amount to deliberately undermining the work of their competitors, so they will not go into that. Recently I have come across a number of articles talking about the excessive use of herbal products. All kinds of people are producing all kinds of herbs. And in our culture, we tend to readily accept anything herbal. Meanwhile, we don't even know the composition. And in these days, when people are spraying all kinds of things, I will tell you about something that happened to one of my cousins. You know, she loves to do enema. You know enema? When you, that enema container, you want to dislodge your intestines. When you are constipated and you don't want to go, you know, I'm sure you do it here also, right? It's a global thing, actually. A picture of Bentua. Maybe somebody will come and help me do it. Later we'll get the picture. But interestingly, even that one, the one that we used to do the enema is not manufactured in Africa. It's manufactured in Europe and brought to us. Yes, locally we had what we use. Then you pump the liquid inside you through your anus, you pump it in, shake your body small, and then, you go and you go and dislodge it. Okay, so my sister, they had some herbs around the house. She picked some, went and did it. After some days, she started falling sick. She went to the hospital severally. It was months later that she went to see a doctor who investigated and said, you have been poisoned. How did she get poisoned? Not knowing that morning that she went to pick the herbs, this guy around who takes care of the environment had sprayed some insecticide on the herbs. So safety matters comes in. And then some of these people, what they do is, their medicines that they have bottled have expired long time ago. And they will repackage it. And they are selling to unsuspecting public people. That is where part of the problem is coming from. And yet, so if you go to a scientific meeting, I'm talking to the journalist now, and you ask questions about that, they cannot answer that. Because that is not their business. So we will have to help the public by investigating those ones. A lot of problem is being caused by them. Okay. So we want to build brand royalty. We want to ensure that this product is good. And you need the media to do that. So it may not be word for word verbatim, but we want the essence of the message, to go to the public. Besides, when a trusted media outlet write about your organization on the merit of your story, it establishes credibility for you. It does. That is why yesterday, when Joseph was talking about the hacker, why didn't the hacker use any other media house? He decided to use BBC. Because we know that BBC, once BBC says something, it goes. And in our various countries, we have established media houses whose word establishes credibility. Effective media relations. So effective media relations involve utilizing dynamic strategies that incorporate a mix of audience preferences, appreciation, using the most impactful content channels, and delivering content in formats that appeal to the target audience. So I said from the beginning, it's deliberate. So it means that you are going to highlight, identify what is the most strategic way of reaching out to this media group. It is critical for any organization desirous of using the media to share its messages to develop a media relations strategy or plan. This will outline the approaches that organizations would use to engage with and build mutually beneficial relationship with the media. So it's not on ad hoc basis. At times we do that. But if you sit down and you plan towards it, you get the maximum impact. Before developing the media relations strategies, an organization needs to understand the news media cannot be controlled. Through their gatekeeping roles, those involved in packaging news have ultimate control over whether stories / news ideas sent to them are of interest to their audiences. So again, it boils down to the messages. When you are sending your invitation letter to the media house, what goes into it? How do you get it? And are you still going to say that they should come and cover the opening? They will cover the opening, and the speeches and the statements and your research results, which comes normally in subsequent sessions, will not be covered. Because they will cover the political statements first. And they will leave, because that is what you told them to do. So the messages comes in here, and we need to work on that. And I spoke about the editors. Now the editor sits down, he can decide that this assignment we will cover, this one we will not cover. You cannot do anything to that person. But if you have established relationship with that person, even if it is just, a courtesy call that someone is got, they will send somebody there. Trust me. Based on relationship. It is of utmost importance for an organization and its representative to become deeply familiar with the areas of interest of the targeted media houses. This requires following the media outlets' social media channels, and that of individual journalists. Now, you need to know them. Gloria said that this morning. You need to know the media houses, what they are for, what their interest is. If you want to bond with a particular journalist, you need to investigate that journalist's background and know that person's reach. So you don't go in for any... I remember some time ago, I was talking with the then director of WASI, that's West Africa Center. Doc, this center... Yes. Yes, for crop improvement, Professor Dankwa. Yes. And I wanted to go and do a story. Then he asked me at that time, Amma, do you have a Facebook? I said, me, those things, I don't deal with Facebook. I have, but I hardly use it. He said, no, Amma. I want somebody whose Facebook is active and has a lot of followers. So on that condition, he did not grant me the interview. Period. That's it. So you investigate. And he knew somebody who is into Facebook, and a journalist works with a media house. He also has his Facebook, and he has a lot of followers. That is the kind of person Professor Dankwa was looking for. Yes. And so it should be deliberate and targeted because you want to reach a certain group of people. And so the advantage is that you have opportunity to customize your pitch just for them. You will be able to suggest topics that they are interested in and write about. You will avoid sending obsolete information to them and provide them with content that pass the plagiarism check. So you don't, you see, one thing that most of us do, to all media houses, you have done your invitation, press release, to all media houses. Okay. So if it is to all media houses, every media house will write, so we don't need to bother ourselves about that. You get the point I'm making. So you customize your letter to whoever you have identified. So if it is, for instance, if you are sending it to Emmanuel's media house, for instance, you want to get it directly to Emmanuel, you address him as such. Don't say to all media houses or to all editors. No. Let's get personal with them. The media relations strategy would include a media database and list. It should include notes on what you've discovered about each media house and individual. This is for your organization, so you can go ahead and it's not for public display. It's for your organization. So you do that and then you write the notes beside it. A media priority, then you must also have a media priority list. By identifying and focusing on key media houses and individual journalists who are influencers in their own right. With this, when a newsworthy event occurs in an organization, it can be used to determine which media outlet and specific journalists may be the most interested in a particular story. So you have your database. Aside the database, you have your list of priority, where you have prioritized the various media houses and some journalists that you want to reach immediately when something big is going to happen in your institution. You should also outline the area for media engagement, such as launch of the organization's promotional campaigns, launch of a new product or service, providing a point of view on negative news, the organization's sponsored events and awards, involvement in local communities activities, community engagement, field trips, and informal interactions such as press soiree. I mean, it should not always be an assignment. At times we can organize, just informal, getting to know each other at times. But if it's always assignment, no, let's vary it. It helps bond us with them. Then you also want to list information subsidies to provide to the media. Information subsidies comprise information that is provided to media and journalists as supplementary materials to assist them in their reporting. It is also known as press kit and includes press releases, media backgrounders, media briefs, and videos of recent events. So those are information subsidies. You prepare them, they are already there. So whenever you are going for an event, depending on what event it is, you carry these things along with you, and they help very much. Aside giving the media a quick overview of issues and updates, information subsidies have the advantage of decreasing and eliminating the media's need for additional research. By presenting ready-to-publish data, information subsidies can save journalists time and money. And it also helps journalists to have trusted sources. So at times you go for, most organizations think that in this era and age, you shouldn't give out statements to journalists. My dear, please, it is still essential. So if the soft copy, these days we all have the phones, we all have the laptop. If the soft copy you want to send, for your own sake, send it to them. It is very, very, let's not ignore that. It is crucial that we prepare such information subsidies for them. Then, one more thing. Be accessible. Keep in touch. I put this one here because we went on a field trip. That's a group of journalists interviewing some experts. The man in the uniform works with the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission in Ghana. And the division has the mandate, is responsible for overseeing activities within our wetlands and Ramsar sites and that kind of thing. Where we are standing, or where these people are standing, is part of a Ramsar site which used to have mangroves, and now the mangroves have all disappeared. So they are replanting. Now, that's about field trip. It helps. Seeing is believing. They went there and they saw that, yes, indeed, they have started replanting. But we needed a technical person to talk to us. Supposing he hadn't gone with us, what would have happened? Supposing this field trip hadn't taken place at all, what would have happened? So it is essential that field trips are there, but also that you avail yourself. If for whatever reason you are unable, a journalist is unable to reach you at a time, let the person know that, oh, I'm very busy now. Maybe can we make it on Thursday next week? That is the best thing to do. Don't shy away from them. Now, I'm saying pitching also counts. So let's look at pitching. So why do we need a pitch? So to pitch is to send targeted, relevant content and ideas to the right media house and journalists at the right time. The aim is to generate interest for coverage in creating a news story around the content. So you want the media house to come, or you want some airtime on a particular media product. That is what you do, pitch. To send it to the media house, to the news editor, to that journalist, because you know their work and you want to get all of them. So that is why we do the pitch. I'll come to pitching, but let's look at framing. I'll come to the details of pitching. Let's look at framing and reframing in pitching. Generally, framing refers to how the media packages and presents information to the public. What we did here this morning, messaging, framing came in. You went through a process. You wanted to highlight a particular, why is it that we didn't lump everything together? And we are saying from the regulator's perspective, safety is of interest. From the scientist's perspective, access to that kind of product that you will need to do your modification is of interest. It has to do with framing. In the media, framing is a process of presenting an issue or a message in a way that emphasizes certain aspects and downplays other aspects. It's not that the other aspects are not important, but you want a certain issue to be known. You want the journalist to focus on that, and so you highlight that one. While it is a media concept, it is a mass communication theory that can be applied in every communication-related activities. So you are not media people, yes, but you are communicating. And because you are communicating, you need to understand the issue about framing and reframing. Framing can highlight an issue to make sense of events. Framing can affect how people interpret information, form opinions, and make decisions. It can regulate the audience's perception and also the acceptance of a particular meaning. We want people to understand gene bio. It will take framing for people to understand and embrace what gene bio stands for. We also have reframing. Reframing is the process of changing the frame or perspective of an issue or a content and message to create a different meaning or impression. So for instance, for the regulator, safety is of prominence. For the scientist, access is of prominence. But after you have gotten the material that you want to use, the message has to change. You cannot go on still using that kind of content. You have to change it. And that has to do with reframing. Reframing can challenge existing frames, introduce new frames, or shift the focus of attention. So after, let's use the scientist example again. You've now gotten the materials you want to use, blah, 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 you've done it. Now it will require reframing for you to change the original message. So the original message is no longer about we are importing X because of 1, 2, 3, but now we have reached a stage where the eggs have hatched. So what happens? That is where reframing comes in. Framing and reframing are important because they can shape the public discourse and opinion. Through framing and reframing, you can define the problem and the solution, and persuade and motivate your audience and manage conflicts and controversies. For instance, you are going for an interview, and you have prepared your message map. By preparing your mind, you don't just go and present the points that, we stand for safety and that is the end of the matter. No. In presenting your supplementary information or supporting information, you give the details. And that is what reframing does, so that even whoever is hosting that program also gets to appreciate what you are talking about. Now we look at steps to write a media pitch. This one is not the journalist writing, but it's you, the scientist. So whatever it is that you want to send, it has to be done through pitching. Pitching establishes the newsworthiness of your topic. And so you will need to consider the following. First of all, like we did this morning, you went through a process. You wanted to establish what you needed to address through your message. So pitching does that also. Why is the story important to tell at this time? Why do we want to highlight that, yes, we have GMO mosquitoes targeting the Anopheles and not other mosquitoes, because we want the burden on malaria to reduce. But in spite of that, don't stop using your your net, your mosquito-treated net. Don't stop doing this. Why would you want to highlight on that? So you need to go through that process and identify what is the most important and why you want to tell that story at this time. Then, what will be the angle you want to use that will catch the eye of the news editor, the assignment editor? When I was working in as a full-time journalist in the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, when you go there first, when you are newly employed, one of the things you do is to be writing the assignments that come in the assignment book. And at times, the assignment editor will look at it and say, this one is not very important for us to cover. This one, don't enter it. So don't enter means that your assignment, it will not see the light of day. So you need to write it in such a way that it catches the eye of the assignment editor, who will then assign one of the reporters to enter it into the assignment book. How is the story relevant to the media house's focus? Media houses that have their editorial policies, they have their focus. For instance, in GBC radio, it was our policy, we don't cover chieftaincy issues. No matter what, we don't cover, because some of our chiefs, they can create serious confusion, so we don't cover the assignments. That is our policy. So if you bring an assignment that has to do with a chief, this, a chief, that, we will not enter it. So you need to study and know what the interest of the media house or that journalist is. Then you verify the appropriate recipient and personalize the outreach. I've already said that. You want it to go to a particular person. So avoid generalizing it to all media houses, to all news editors. No. If it is to the Nigerian, you have Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation, right? Am I right? Yes. So if it is to the news editor, in fact, if you find out the person's name, it will even be better. Because people want to be seen, to be known. So let's do that, and then it will help us. Then when you are writing, your first line, that is the heading or whatever, should be captivated, whether it is email, whether it is handwritten, whether it's, these days we use telephones a lot. We use telephones a lot. So if you are going to talk to the person, how you present that message counts. There is need to verify the most effective mode of communicating with the media house or contact person. Then use a compelling line. And this one, we learned it here this morning. It should be simple, straightforward language. Use emotional or engaging words that match the sentiment of your pitch. Then make use of questioning words like what? What is it about? How? Why? Where? Yes, it's one of the media things we do, but you can also learn that. Stating what is it? Why? And where, and when do you want to take place? And you can even explain the when of it. Why are you letting it take place at this time? Then your lead should be compelling. Your lead, so we have two kinds of lead, which is a news peg and a time peg. So the news peg refers to a trending topic or current events, particularly of a national scope. Let's come back to the GM mosquito. Why are we doing it? Malaria is exerting too much toll on the continent. It is big. If you want to quantify it in terms of loss of human capital, it is huge. If you want to quantify it in terms of money, it is big. You want to quantify it in terms of its impact on women and on the girl child, it is big. Of course, on the men also. We are not ignoring the men. So you want to use that because it has a national impact. So you want to highlight that. And the other one, the time peg, this may refer to an approaching holiday, World Environment Day. Which one is coming yet? We've passed one. Which one do we have again? Any UN day coming? Or Mr. Mosquito, do you have any national day or week celebrating some of the things? Oh, amazing. Can you imagine? Today is World Mosquito Day. So you want to send a pitch to Emmanuel sitting beside you. That is your assignment. I'll come back to you later. That's your assignment. Okay. Then you want to demonstrate why your story is important. In trying to demonstrate the importance of your story, you want to emphasize the story is timely. Then you want to highlight that it is relevant to the media house. That if you are the media house which breaks this story, you'll be giving yourself visibility. So yesterday, Michael was thanking me for, I didn't let him sleep. I sent a message to him that night. I said, please, Michael, this is a breaking story. And interestingly, AATF was handling that position. AATF wasn't going to invite some of us to that program. And the program was not in Accra. It was where the event had taken place in the northern part of Ghana. And we did a program, and so one of my colleagues announced that, Ghana is up. I said, bam, I've gotten my story. So I did my research. I spoke with I called them, the principal investigator. I spoke to him, he sent me his information. I called some others I know, and I contacted our Dr. Willie. I said, Doc, this is it. I want to have your comments on it. So I sent a message. I said, please, Michael, don't sleep. Don't sleep yet. And the story went very late. It was after 12 midnight that I sent the story to him. And the next morning, so he broke the story first. And that is what I'm talking about. So working with media houses, working with the editors, it helps. Because then you can call on them at any time and they will listen to you. And that is where point I believe that we should get to. Okay, let me skip these ones because I want us to do. And coming to the conclusion of your pitch, you should conclude your pitch in such a way that you automatically lead the editor, the journalist, or whoever to take a certain action. And to take the certain action means that he takes an action that favors your cause. You want the person to come. You want the person to write that news item. So you should end it, conclude it in such a way that the person is indirectly compelled to do that story or to take that action. And the things that help, normally for further details there, you put your contact there. Then if the mode of communication is via social media, you know how to book a demo, learn more, see more, you know those things. So help the journalist to help you by concluding in a way that will oblige the person to act in your favor. Okay, so that's part of it. This will be the last part and I'm done, and then we'll do our discussion. I want us to finish so that we will have more time to go for the trip. So I want us to look at media networking. Even though it's media networking, the networking may not involve only media people, but also experts like you here. The concept of media networking. Networking in the media is simply the interactions, connectivity, and togetherness among professional journalists to share ideas, provide professional support, and links to editors for assignment or avenues for publication for the purpose of enhanced information dissemination. Networking facilitates access to expert sources, valuable information, collaborators, mentorship opportunities, or gain a competitive edge in the industry. It is also a process that allows the public to be involved in media production through interactivity, hyperlinking, user-generated content, and forums, thereby changing the news creation procedure from the normal linear and top-down to a concerted process. You know, when we went to journalism school first, the first things we learned, newsmakers. So automatically, some people are not newsmakers. Those days, the old woman in the village there is not a newsmaker. It is the president. And you see, the night editors, you know the assignment of the night editors in the newsroom. They always have a front page open. Or if the front page is not even filled, they have ticked a story that will be dropped if something comes from the presidency. So maybe the story was initially the first headline. Once something comes in the night, you have to drop it and put that story there. That is how come maybe you felt sure that your story was going to see the light of day. No, it wouldn't, because something came from the presidency. And maybe it was quite long, so it will occupy pages, so your article will be pushed to the next day. Now, when we do these days, journalism, the way we are looking at it, newsmakers, it has changed. It doesn't mean that the presidency doesn't matter. It matters, but now we have more voices that are making the news. So the person there, Joseph was telling about this guy who went and he thought that, okay, if you are introducing this, then I don't need the mosquito net again. He went and cut it and used it as a sponge. And he didn't realize that this is treated. So it means there are some chemicals in it. And later on, he started falling sick. So he became a newsmaker. He is a newsmaker. Because he thought that he could, do anything he wanted. No, he became a newsmaker. So ordinarily, he is not a newsmaker. But because of the things that have happened around that moment, he becomes a newsmaker. And these days, some of our media houses, what are we doing? We are looking at the content on our social media, and we are picking that up to turn them into news. So people are becoming part. Ordinary people have become part of newsmakers. Characteristics of media networking. It could be a loose group that from time to time discusses issues of mutual interest. Or it could be a structured group driven by commitment to a public cause and initiates media advocacy campaigns based on conviction for the public good. So a group of journalists come together with experts, And then we discuss. So there is a course. And I'm talking about media advocacy because in the past, the rule was that media people, we don't do advocacy. It's for the NGOs. But now the rules are changing because we are talking of public good. So if the research that you are doing, the end product, is for the public good, then through media networking, we can embark on a campaign to support your activity. It is acceptable. Media networking is geared towards linking journalists from different media houses around a common theme or subject matter, and sometimes engendering their participation in a related public event for extensive and sustained media publicity. That last picture that I showed you, we did it, it happened 2 years ago. We're celebrating International Mangrove Day. And I sent a proposal to IEC and I said, look, why don't you support some few members of my group for us to do a story, a documentary to establish the status of mangrove in Ghana? And they agreed. They couldn't bring a lot of us, but I made sure that those of us going were strategically chosen. So we had somebody from GBC, we had a TV crew, we have the graphic, somebody from Daily Graphic, we have somebody from the Ghanaian News Agency, we had somebody from the Ghanaian Times. That was it. And we went. And the story, at times when people say that, oh, environment or science stories, they don't sell, it depends on how this journalist has come to appreciate the issues. Because one of the graphic story, it was the headline story for the weekend paper. And we did our documentary, and it was good. Because we were able to establish, because of that networking and that collaboration. So you have different media houses reporting on the issue, of course, from different angles and different perspectives, but the story was told nevertheless. Successful networking requires building lasting relationships. It all boils down to relationships. And then I'm going to talk about pairing, because media networking also has to do with pairing. Now this picture, I was trying to get a picture to talk about pairing. So the idea is 2 people working together. 2 or more working together on a story. Pairing results, so this is a group from Joy FM. Of course, both of the 2 work in Joy FM, but I'm looking more at a situation where somebody, maybe you see, like we here, we are from different media houses. The beauty, now Dr. Willie is very happy because when we left Arusha, stories started coming. From Kenya, there was a story. From is it Zambia or Zimbabwe? There was a story. From Ghana, my story came late, but it's good because it came from a different angle. So you see, on the same issue, we have different stories coming from different countries because we are all in the same boat. And that is the work of pairing. Pairing results when journalists in the network are attracted to a common issue and decide to work together on it. Pairing is a beautiful journalism activity leading to a pooling of information from different parts of the country, across countries and regions. It culminates in a comprehensive reportage on a common theme from different perspectives, different cultures, and different nations. Pairing facilitates learning and sharpening one's writing skills, especially when it's between an editor and a writer, or a reporter or an expert and a journalist. A young journalist, a new reporter with an experienced one. So if, for instance, Mrs. Azu here, we can agree. Or Mr. Mosquito, you are in Nigeria, I am in Ghana, but the issues are similar. We can agree, we can work on something and come up with a story that, even though it's coming from Ghana, will be of interest to Nigeria. That is what pairing does at the end of the day. So benefits of pairing also includes resilience, that is the ability to meet deadlines, higher quality, obviously 2 heads are better than 1. Then shared practices, sharing of experiences, training and development, especially if the pair consists of a new reporter and an experienced one. excellent for fact-checking and sources. Once it is a pair handling an assignment, there is an opportunity for better coverage of what people have said and helps in getting correct codes and attribution. Because you are a pair, for instance, if it's two journalists going to interview Dr. Bonnie, I may miss something. My other colleague will not. My other colleague might be recording, I will be writing. But because we are working in pairs, at the end of the day, the report that will come out will be of higher quality because we are able to capture all the essence of the information he was passing on to us. If a scientist decides that, look, let's pair, let's do this thing together. When we are able to do this thing successfully, the issue of us misreporting will be reduced. And trust me, scientists, it is not deliberate. But the point about it is that we are not your PROs. But when we have network and do pairing, we have better chances of representing you accurately, and you'll be happy at the end of the day. Ground rules in pairing, as with all endeavors, be gentle and give feedback and not criticism. Positive feedback is essential. So when there is pairing, that is where I will have the liberty to share my story with you. That is where I will have the liberty to call you. Yes, fact-finding, like we learned from my sister Rosalia yesterday, is part of our ethics. It's part of journalism standards that you do fact-checking before you publish your story. But you see, it becomes more frequent, and the process is facilitated when that bonding has taken place through networking and through pairing. Yes, nothing will stop me. But when you make it a demand on me, that one, it doesn't work because you are not my editor. But indirectly, we can get these things happening because there is a networking, there is a pairing. So once I send a story, you can give your comments. Oh, maybe this one, why don't you put it this way? This comment, if you put this comment this way, you put me in trouble with my bosses. Please, can you change it? So there is a way of going about it. And on that note, I say, Medase. Thank you.